Heilige Chevra. Savach Hashem, our midah for today is the midah of Simcha. And when we're speaking about the inyan of Simcha, there's so much that we can articulate here. First of all, with the pshat of the Kinyan HaTorah and the midah of Simcha. We mentioned earlier that you can choose your state. You can choose your state. You do have that ability. I have that ability. We all have that ability. And we're told in several places, the Medrash Shmuel tells us that a person who learns B'Simcha, and is brought as well by the Maharal, Reb Chaim Volozhiner, and the Stipler, a person who learns B'Simcha remembers their Torah learning. The Stipler in Birchas Peretz, Parashas Lech Lecha, tells us that we can actually find out the quality of our state based on how we remember our learning because of how we learned that learning. Absolutely profound. And Reb Chaim Pelagi brings this as well, that there's a nakuda of remembering your Torah, being more engaged in Torah. Rashi says that when we are learning Torah, when we're learning Torah and we're happy in learning Torah, the Shekhinah rests upon us. The Medrash Shmuel further notes that if we are excited and we learn Torah b'simcha, then this joyfulness carries us through. We will want more of it. I'd like to add a couple of different nakudas as well. The nakuda I'd like to add is if we take the letters b'simcha, the Rav Shitzer says, one of my forebearers, that the same letters spell machshava. That when a person is a bal anava, when a person's working on building their self-esteem, we come to realize that our perception, our machshava, and the choices that we make in regards to the thoughts that we think lead to the life that we live. So the nakuda of simcha, joyfulness, happiness, really is rooted in our thinking. And the inyan of limud HaTorah, one major nakuda of limud HaTorah, is to recognize this truth, that the thinking that I think breeds the outlook, which breeds and gives birth to the way I live in this world. So simcha, joyfulness, really is rooted in our thinking. B'machshava. B'simcha is b'machshava. Machshava. And this is something very, very important to remember, that the more we learn Torah, the more we realize how we want to place our attention on our thinking. And the more that we are practicing being strong within ourselves, knowing who and what we are, then the more I can choose to think thoughts that are going to breed a well-lived life. And it's something to think about every single day, that the thoughts that I think either will breed joyfulness or detract from joyfulness. And what we want is we want to be Balei Simcha. We want to be Balei Simcha. We want to place ourselves in an environment of Simcha. Speak to people that breed Simcha. Within ourselves, think thoughts that breed Simcha. Now, we can't be in that state the whole time because we're oscillating between many different points. But it's to know that the quality of Simcha is something incredibly important. And Chazal tell us in many a place that Ruach HaKodesh only rests on somebody if they're b'simcha. And the quality of the limud Torah is connected to the nekuda of Simcha. It's fascinating to note, the Ramah in his Sefer Toras Ha'olah writes, there's no happiness like the clarification of doubts. So it's interesting. On one hand, doubts occur in the nefesh, in the lower self. When we're in a state of das, when we're recognizing that our thinking is birthing our whole reality, we are attracting to us our life, even physically. The physical things in our lives, we're attracting to us through and via our thinking, because our thinking produces a frequency and resonance. So either there's no happiness like the clarification of doubt because I can linearly figure something out in the world of nefesh, or there's no doubt because I'm not in nefesh, I'm in das. And my thinking is of a higher substance, higher consciousness. That I'm happy because I'm in a state of das. I can hold paradox in a state of das. So Be'ezras Hashem is Baruch for today. Place our attention on our thinking and allow ourselves to hear happy thoughts, choose them, program them within ourselves, to say words that breed happiness, to do things that breed happiness. And as we learn as well, as we mentioned, get into a state, Be'ezras Hashem, of happiness and simcha and joyfulness. Bracha, mazel and hatzlacha, wishing us always well on all our endeavors.